1983 Catalina 30 standard rig fin keel. Currently located Bay Springs Lake near Tupelo, Mississippi on the Tennessee-Tombigbee Waterway. Bay Springs Lock and Dam is the 10th lock north of Mobile, the 10th and final lock north of Demopolis, which is the beginning of the Tim-Tom, actually. It's about 40 miles from Pickwick Lake, south of Pickwick Lake. Things I've done to it recently: added this bimini top. It's not stainless steel, not extremely high quality. It's a $155 eBay bimini, but it does the job. It's got a hood furler, which uses a continuous line. So this is a continuous loop line, and this is brand new. Been on here about a month. Replace that line and sheets. It has brand new main sheet and jib sheets. There's the new main sheet. I left the halyards. The halyards are serviceable condition. The main halyard is stainless cable spliced to half-inch line or so. This is the line part, but what does the work is a stainless cable. There's that hood furler. New jib sheets. I don't know the exact length of my road. It doesn't have much chain. It has about 15 foot of chain, and the road, there it is, just a little Danforth lake anchor. It's not extremely big, but does the job around here. You want a bigger anchor down Lake Pontchartrain on the Gulf or whatever. I had the deck sounded during a survey last year, and he found no soft spots whatsoever. This is temporary. This is where I was finding a leak in that window. I've located the leak and stopped it. The blue was just where I had a sheet of plastic covering that window to isolate the leak. I just got to scrape that off. It's just RTV. Lumar 30 winches. They seem to be in sound condition. Main winch is a Lumar 16 single speed self-tailer. These are 2 speeds. The 30s are. Has a working depth meter. I replaced that. It's a Data Marine depth meter. And Data Marine knot meter, but the knot meter is currently not working, but I do have a new impeller for it that I haven't tested yet. It comes on, but it reads 0. These cockpit doors, although they need refinishing, are in very serviceable condition and are an add-on to the boat by a previous owner. They're a game changer with the air conditioning. They make getting in and out a speedy operation. I wouldn't want the boat without them. I don't say that, but they're definitely a plus, and new would cost about $2,000. Nice cockpit cushions. We'll come back in another segment with those off. I'll put the bimini up. I wanted to do this part while it was cool out. I got a little shade here with that, but it doesn't last long. Grill's a year old. Been used a dozen times. I put this pizza stone in it to turn it into a little oven. You can take that out and use it as a grill with that. It's good for heating up a pizza or something like that, because it doesn't have a stove. You'll see why shortly. Ladder's in good shape. There's a little out dinghy motor mount. I'm not sure the exact name of that. It has a cockpit table. Again, I'll take this off in another segment and you'll see all that. Pretty clean for a boat her age. So the sails are Sure by Sure, S-C-H-U-R-R. And like I mentioned earlier, they're kind of tired. They're very serviceable for lake and just day trips and such. If you're a racer or a cruiser, you probably want to consider some new sails. The sacrificial cloth on the headsail is in good condition, with spots that need to be looked at, like right there at the clew. I don't know if you can see it. It's kind of probably UV damage to a non-UV protected part. The covers, the cover on the mainsail is in good shape. I think the Genoa is about a 115 or a 125. I've never actually just completely measured it. Like I said, the cover on that mainsail is in good condition. It's been patched a couple times. There's winches behind there that I'm sure that the winch kind of punched through there where that patch is. The standing rigging appears to be in good shape. No signs of rust. I don't really see any signs of this having ever been a saltwater boat. Its registration has always been, going back to the beginning, has been in Mississippi and Tennessee. Madison, Mississippi, for most of its life. But I don't know its history, but it doesn't show signs of having been a saltwater boat. There's just not a lot of rust on them at all. The only rust I've ever seen is was in the steering quadrant and cables that has been resolved. That's the only rust I ever saw, and that was a non-stainless device. There's a non-stainless component. So she's ready to sail either way. I mean, it's like I said, the sails are a little tired, but very serviceable. It's a little too windy to put them up today to show you any detail on that. If anybody gets serious, I can come here on a non-windy day if you can't make it, or you can come, we'll take her out. All right, cockpit detail. There's the teakish, I don't know if it's actually teak, might be mahogany. This does appear to be teak. The cup holder, this comes off, this folds down. These little storage compartments on each side there. That's the bimini cover, and there's the bimini top. Bimini is fully adjustable along these tracks, so you have 2 feet of adjustment back and forth, and you can adjust along the stern pulpit on each side. You can move those forward and backwards depending on whether you want upward visibility from the cockpit. I have it moved forward because I like to be able to see up at the mast and mainsail. This is a bottomless storage compartment here. Goes way down in there to the hull. And that's the refrigeration unit for the ice box. I don't know if it's light enough down there to see. That's where it's stored, so you don't really hear it inside. This was a little shallower because the starboard quarter berth is below it, so it only goes down 6-8 inches. It's where I keep stuff like covers and extra lines and winch handle. It's a very serviceable Ritchie compass. This binnacle is brand new Edson product. It's an Edson pedestal. Here's the I guess you call it a radial for the belt for the autopilot. The belt goes there, and then the autopilot mounts here. The control connects here, and it mounts here. The lines run down to it. throttle and shifter, instruments, engine instruments. There's the top of the rudder stock. Another storage compartment back here. There's the emergency tiller. Very sturdy. You take the wheel off. I keep this kind of oiled up so it will come off in case I ever need to use my emergency tiller. Excuse my dirt, this is where my gas can sits. It just gets kind of nasty. It cleans up well. Steering, when I first got it, the steering was very tight. I was somewhat apprehensive even about sailing it. So we motored it down from Pickwick, 40-mile trip, and it was very stiff to use the wheel. So further investigation revealed that the steering system was in very poor shape, and now it's not in poor shape. It's almost totally brand new. All the bearings in here, they're just like brass bearings, almost like a cutlass bearing inside there. They were serviceable just by cleaning them up and lubricating them. Clutch works well. There's plenty of clutch material left. I call it clutch brake. It uses a chain and cable, and the chain, cable, and conduits were in very bad shape, going back to the radial steering quadrant, which is directly below there. It's attached to the post. It wraps around the post. That post goes straight down to the road. So right below there is the radial, and the cables, the clamps holding the cables were not stainless, and they were of substandard materials. They were galvanized steel, and they had rusted away. They were nothing but dust. So I was right in my concerns with the steering. It probably under heavy conditions would have come loose. So that's all replaced, brand new. The radial didn't have to be replaced, but the cable, chain, and conduits, and you'll see those in another segment from the inside looking up. That's still accessible. I hadn't put the cover back on just because of procrastination. Anyway, steering is very nice now. It was not like this on our trip down here. It was tough. So now we're good on steering. All right, I'm in the quarter berth now, and this is the stuff I was talking about. Some cobwebs. So this is conduit. It's a very large version of what you have on any type of control cable or the brake cable of a bicycle. You might be more familiar with it. A throttle cable. So it's just it's that made for big cable, and it goes from just a few inches inside that hole. That's the bottom of the pedestal, right up there. Just a few inches up there, there's another mount that's attached to that. The cables enter it. This allows them to make a turn, to make a 90 down here. Otherwise you'd have to have pulleys, so this was replaced with pulleys. That's the other type, is cable and pulley versus cable and conduit. There's the radial. The cable wraps around it halfway to the back, comes up, and that screw is actually a kind of one side of a turnbuckle and pulls the cable taut. Now it's actually an eye ring. It's just an eyelet. It's a stainless steel eye that pulls. That's how you adjust the tension on the cable. And it's just a pulley. It goes around the rudder stock, which is that there. So brand new. Alright, I'm gonna go out on a limb here. This thing hasn't been cranked in over a month. Glow plug it. You gotta glow plug it when it's cold for about 25 seconds. I understand that's the nature of this engine. Get about a third throttle, you're probably going, yeah, he cranked it a minute ago, but seriously, hadn't been cranked in a month. Hopefully I won't eat my words. And Engine, universal, 21 horsepower, M25, the standard M25. I have no idea how many hours it has on it. It doesn't have a hour meter. It cranks good, it runs good. Everything about it has just been wonderful. It's got new glow plugs. Previous owner just put glow plugs in it. You do have to glow it, as you saw on the cranking video. You got to glow plug it for about 25 seconds. Let off and it'll crank up every time, even when it's 30 degrees out. Solid engine. Old engine, but solid. Single engine compartment. That's my new air conditioning pump. House water pump there. What better place to start than the head? Everything in here works. The hot water heater does not work. I don't think it ever will. It needs to come out and be replaced. It's dead weight on the heavy side of the boat, so it probably needs to come out. Get this vent up here. That's just there to keep a little bit of ventilation without letting rain in. These are new, very nice port lights. There's one there on that side. You'll see the rest of them. They have screens. You can see the screen on it. Brand new, previous owner did that. And moving forward to the V-berth. So yep, across this, it's about the size of a queen size bed. Then it tapers down. We sleep in here very comfortably. This hatch has been reworked completely. The seal, brand new. I put it in back in the fall, late winter, something. These are new, the Catalina direct product, specifically made for this boat. Along with these, that's just to hold them, and then they come below this and screw in. That's brand new, had to be done. It had the old style, the original style, and it was in pretty rough shape and leaked slightly right on Jennifer's head. Air conditioned vent back here. There's one here, one in the head, and then the main one is in the main cabin. Right here we have the wardrobe. There's some storage back here. There's some nice drawers along that side, and then kind of a little hanging locker. You can hang a raincoat length stuff in there. It's full of junk. I'll spare you right now. This is the forward water tank. So it has a water tank in the front. There's glycol in there now. I just hadn't de-winterized it yet. It's not dark water, it's just pink. There's a forward water tank and a water tank underneath this starboard settee. We'll get to that one in a minute as well. And I think they're 40 each, something in that range. And they're tied together. You never have to switch between the two or anything like that. It does it itself. Feeds, cross feeds, I guess you could say. The forward section. In the previous segment on the V-berth and all, I forgot to mention two things. These cushions are in perfect condition. They are not of the same era as the rest of the cushions that I point out in another segment. So these are really in perfect condition. They have like vinyl, naga hide, I guess you call it, on the bottom side, and then this cloth, heavy woven cloth there. And also I replaced this fan. This vent fan is a solar vent fan, and it's new from early 2018, I believe I put that in. And the living quarters. Start with the galley. A little microwave. It's older, but it works really well. Here's the ice box. It condensates when you leave it on. That's a known issue. Some people insulate the inside of the cover. Somehow there's a thick insulation they put on. So here's one of the nice features about this boat that a lot of them don't So it came with this ice box. It was an ice box. You put ice in it. There's a big cooler and it drained into the bilge. This has this cooling unit in it. Very similar to what's like in a dorm room refrigerator. And this one, when I turn it all the way up, water will freeze in it. You know, the drinks will freeze and stuff in it. But that's a very nice addition. It's a $1,500, $2,000 edition. There's fairly nice storage here. These slide. There's storage behind there. Same on that end. Little shelf there. Here's the primary air conditioning unit. The air conditioning unit is located where the stove used to be. I like that idea. It keeps it away from the V-berth. A lot of people will put it under the V-berth in place of that front water tank. But this, to me, for my use, was a good place to put it. I didn't put it here, but it was a good idea. Took the stove out, and it's easy to access. Everything just kind of pulls apart. None of it's screwed together. In place of the stove, they have this little Coleman cook stove. That's nice. Plop it right up here, and you're ready to go. So, most of the boat showing 76 over here. We go over here to this wall, 81. And then the general air showing 81. And the output of the cooler is 64. So it's dropping almost 20 degrees, 18 degrees or so from the main temperature of the cabin. I just pulled it out a month before last and sent it back to the manufacturer. I had it wasn't cooling right. I sent it back and it was just Freon. So the local guy here told me Freon was fine, so I thought I had deeper problems and spent the money of sending it back to the manufacturer. But they gave me good peace of mind because they gave it a thumbs up at the factory. It's a Mermaid, is the manufacturer. It's a 12,000 BTU, and it's definitely a plus to the boat. New one, the unit by itself, just the unit alone, is $1,500. Here's the dining area. This table comes up and hangs. This is part of it. There's a little hanger there that it goes in, and it'll stand up against that wall. Then also it goes into this wooden lip shelf there to make another berth. We've never used it in that manner. I guess you just gather all the cockpit cushions and everything and make your own little bed. There's no cushion that actually fits that perfect. And cushions, it needs new upholstery. It's discolored. It's from however many years it's been in here. That's the worst one. Doesn't stink. I mean, the boat has an old boat smell, of course, but these cushions don't stink. They don't seem to be dirty, as in bad for you. You know, they're just stained. There was a leak. Water used to drip down right here. That's what kind of caused this discoloration. That leak has been resolved. The windows are new. Previous owner had these custom made, stainless steel hardware. Two of the pieces of glass cracked. It's cosmetic, they don't leak. So you can replace it if you want. I'm not going to right now anyway. So there's storage on both sides. And there, I'll take the cushions off in a minute and do another segment on the storage below. Right below here is the other water tank. Engine is here. One thing I like about the Catalina 30 is you have 270 degree access to the engine. If you need to do big work to it, you take this cabinet off, take this apart basically, and you have almost walk around access to the engine. Nav station and electrical controls. Everything seems to be in order with the electrical. There's storage under here. One of my pack rat nests. Keep your charts and whatnot there. The batteries are down there. They're new-ish batteries. They're probably a year old. And the battery charger's back there. I have some pictures and details on it. It's late model. I don't know the exact time, but it's very new. is not original by any stretch of the imagination. Okay. I'm gonna include a picture here in about 30 minutes after I make this video. I should have done it first. There's a nice piece of teak that goes here, and I put a teak handle so it makes it easy to push forward and backwards. There's a big nice teak handle that's going to go right here. I have that in the truck ready to go. I just hadn't put it in yet. It's the back side of the instruments. Now I put these instruments in. I replaced the instruments that were here. This one was new old stock. It's the knot meter doesn't work. I think it's the transducer. I have a new transducer that came with it. I just haven't had a chance to test it. Can't swear that's the case. There's a company in Massachusetts that rebuilds these. I think it's one of the guys that used to be with the company. Data Marine is the company. This one works. This one doesn't. I've tested this accuracy. From time to time I'll drop a sounding line down and see if it's telling me the truth, and it hadn't failed me yet. Nice peace of mind. Quarter berth. The cushions, here's a cushion that goes from about there to there. It's at the house. I had to do a little repair to the material on it, and I just hadn't put it back together yet. But quarter berth, typically I think you're supposed to sleep in it with your head up here and your feet down there, but there's nice, plenty of room. I'll do another segment. There's the steering gear. You can see some of what I've replaced. I'll get a flashlight and get back there and show you exactly what I did. The steps are in good shape. They could use a little teak oil. I haven't gotten around to it yet, like a lot of things. Very nice steps. Storage here. You got 3 drawers here. 2 here. This is nice and deep. Keep pots and pans and keep some plates in there. Rear of the engine access, and this is more. I keep a few things in here, but this is mainly about plumbing. Air conditioner has a new water pump as well. Put too big a one. That's what they recommended doing, was putting more than you need. It gets good flow. You saw how well it cools. Here, while I'm down here, I'll give you an idea of this quarter berth. Again, the mattresses at the house, I had to repair it and clean it a little bit. So I am 5'10", 200 pounds on a light day. And here's kind of the room I have. It'd be very comfortable as long as you're not claustrophobic. There's plenty of room. A little bit tricky getting in and out of it, but not too bad. Here's that handle I was talking about. Holding tank is under there. Standard. I think it's right at 20 gallons maybe. There's just some more storage under that one, nothing special, and access to the kind of the back of the head. Storage behind the seat cushions that you can now see with them gone, just for whatnot, some junk. And the same over here, little storage things behind there. The water tank, one of the water tanks is just right under there, and then there's a little more storage under here. Sail bags, bosun's chair, all that good stuff.